So welcome everybody to the what's the name of the podcast?
This is starting to look a little more like Caleb Williams at USC.
On a bobble of the snap.
He's got to wear white cleats next time.
On 1st and 10. Pressure's coming. Richardson slips. Now he's airing it out. Deep down the field for Pierce. Pierce! Touchdown!
Love steps up on the run. Wide open. Jaden Reed. Make a man miss.
Allen will run it himself. He pumps. Got some daylight. Hurdles to the end zone.
Barlow armstead the block and he's going deep. He's got Hill. Foot race. Driving. That is 6. Oh, he's a ghost!
Hello guys, welcome to season 2 of Tailgate Talk. I know I was absent for a little while, but I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be talking football with the boys. We got 4 really good topics today. Today we're going to talk about Caleb Williams' debut. Chief questions, can they three-peat? Is there any teams that stood out? Anybody that impressed us? Anybody that let us down with this week? And then anything we're looking forward to moving into the weeks forward. So Caleb Williams' debut, should we be worried? I absolutely think so. I think Caleb Williams stunk it up. He had an atrocious game. The only reason why they came back was that defense. The defense is strong. And then how are you going to go on press conference and say, I don't care about stats? People don't want to hear that. People don't want to see that, because if you don't care about your own stats, how can anybody believe in you to care about your job as a quarterback on the field and being able to lead that team?
Oh, okay. Matt, one thing. Did you watch the game?
I watched the highlight film of the game. I watched some reviews. Belichick, his review stood out. Saying that, Caleb made a few plays, but they weren't spectacular plays. From my understanding, he didn't have a great game. No touchdowns, less than 50% completion, hardly any yards. The defense won the game.
Right.
I saw.
Well, I mean, I also didn't watch the game, so I don't know if I can take your credibility into it. I sat through that hell of a game, and I agree with you. I honestly agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I watched the game and I agree. I think obviously it's a rookie season for Caleb, so there's gonna be growing pains, but it didn't look very good. I told Vince this. The O-line was atrocious. I feel like a lot of their guys came back. Like, they didn't pick up anybody new. Like, a lot of those guys have been there. So I don't know if it's a whole new scheme they're trying to run or whatnot. But it was bad. It was all the way bad. I don't think Caleb helped. I feel like he held onto the ball a lot. And that's not going to help a bad O-line either. I think I don't want to say there was flashes either, which worries me. You want at least one flashy play. Like, Bo Nix had a great run in his game. Watching that Caleb Williams game, I didn't see a play where I was like, oh man, this is the number 1 overall pick. I do believe they have enough talent on that team for it to look better with these coming weeks. But just based off this week 1 game, that was absolutely won by the defense and special teams. A blocked punt for a touchdown, a pick 6. I don't know what Will Levis was doing, but anyways, I agree with Matt. I agree with Matt that it's a little worrisome. It's a little worrisome because he did look horrendous.
I think that I want to jump in here and get involved in this. So I saw this statistic that said that Caleb Williams is the first rookie quarterback, I believe, in the history of the NFL to actually win his debut.
I don't know if it was history, but I did see a stat like that.
Right. Okay. So, for that, I do give them kudos. It's a great accomplishment. They got the W. They started off the season in that win column, which really puts them in a great, position considering who's in their division. Green Bay loses, Detroit, gets the W, and I guess we have to see
Vikings
what happens tonight. And yes, the Vikings got to win. So they're right there in the pack. They're in fight. What I am going to be looking for with Caleb, because I agree with both of you guys' assessments, because I actually had texted Dwight and I said, this guy is awful. And he goes, hey, in fairness, the guy was running for his life.
He was.
Okay, that's fair. And I think that, Tom Brady, while I didn't completely support his viewpoint, that they're dumbing down the game, but he obviously knows about the more of the nuance than I do, having been in the huddle and calling the plays. I think there is something to it that we have to recognize when quarterbacks actually sit before jumping in and playing. I don't care if you're the number 1 or if you're the 30th overall pick. There is some benefit in concrete evidence that shows that when these quarterbacks sit, their progression and their ceiling is a little higher. So I don't think that he is, starting in a great position, particularly behind a bad offensive line. And you know what? That gives me Russell Wilson vibes. I don't know how he endured the storm, but I don't think Caleb is going to survive behind that old line with that sort of pressure. And be able to progress every week. I think he actually may regress with that sort of pressure every week.
I'll let Vince obviously talk about it, but Big, I agree. I think the one thing that we need to see from Caleb is just improvement. And yes, the O-line didn't help, but like I said, he kind of sat in the pocket and he was trying to make plays. He was trying to roam around and roll around. I feel like there's opportunities where he could just made a quick throw, right? Helped his O-line, helped himself from getting hit. Just one quick throw, and I just didn't see that. And the opportunities that he did try to do that, the ball was low. It was like he was throwing low balls in Madden, and they were drops.
So he's Donovan McNabb 2.0, huh?
He might be. He might be. I don't know. I want to see progression. It's against a defense that I don't think is necessarily one of the better defenses either. They play the Texans next week. I'm sure Matt knows this already. And that's a much better defense.
Caleb Williams just seems like he's too worried about being flashy. He seems like he cares about the flashiness, and then he covers it up with, I don't care about the stats, because that's kind of a cop-out to his horrendous performance. Because I think if he played any other team, I don't think Chicago wins.
Well, I mean, you might be right, but at the same time, that defense did play pretty good in the second half.
Any other team. Panthers, yeah, they would have won against them.
Giants, probably.
Panthers were awful.
Giants were pretty bad, too. Anyways, Vince, what's your thoughts, bro? Caleb Williams.
You're not going to be able to... What'd you tell Matt? I can't take your non-accountability.
Accountability? Credibility? Credibility.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either, so, but, just from what I've heard and some stuff I've looked up, and what you've told me, yeah, as far as you were asking, like, it's basically the same line from last year, yet they were playing so poorly. So basically, what's the difference between last year and this year?
Hey, we're talking about Caleb, not his O-line. What do you think of Caleb, bro? Like, talk about
Vince would find a way to talk about the O-line for 5 minutes. Anyways,
bro, you think he was?
I'm a live coach. I can't help it. Anyway. So if you want to go there, you're going to bash me on this, but again, I didn't watch the game, so what I have to go off of best is the 2 games I did watch of him in college.
Okay, no. Let me stop you there. Look at his stat line, bro. Look at the stat line and tell me what does that say to you? What can you infer from his stat line? He was less than 50% completion.
Well, Vince brought up a great point though. Ant was also less than 50%, but Ant actually looked good in certain plays. Like he looked like an NFL star quarterback for a couple plays.
He's also running. He's also toting that rep too.
That's true.
Talking dudes. I mean,
that's true.
And his team was, they were in that game. The offense scored some points in that game. Wasn't the Colts' first game against? Well, no, that might have been a preseason where they played the Texans. But I saw Ant play against the Texans, and you know what? He looked sharp for at least 12 minutes.
You mean yesterday?
Of that game. No. I'm talking about last year when Indianapolis.
Oh, okay. I'm like, he just played them yesterday.
I was going to say, last year, yeah, good point, Big. He played well in the Texans game he got concussed on. He played well until he got concussed.
Yeah, they was actually beating the Texans, and in Texas. So, again, I mean...
still beating me, but after he went out. Sorry, Matt.
Well, I don't recall who won that game, but that's not the point. The point is,
I rubbed it in Matt's face because they beat the Texans with no quarterback and no Jonathan Taylor.
But they lost the game that mattered, so none of that matters. They lost the final game at the end of the season that mattered more.
And anyways, not to get too wrapped up in last year, I didn't really watch very many other rookie quarterback debuts. The only thing I can go off is stat lines. According to what I'm able to see from Jaden Daniels, it looks like he had a successful first game. It seems that he protected the ball when it came to passing. Unfortunately, he didn't throw any touchdowns. He did take a couple sacks, which, could be because of Washington's O-line. They're not the worst, but they're not the best either. I think based off his rushing stat line as well, granted he scored 2 touchdowns, he fumbled 3 times. He didn't lose any of those fumbles, but I think he needs to start thinking in the mindset of guys like Russell Wilson who protect themselves, who had that longevity to start sliding. Because when I see 3 fumbles, all I can think of is he going to try and be like RG3? Is he going to be running around doing this? Just according to this, playing against Tampa, it seems like he had a pretty decent game. And Tampa's defense, I'm not too familiar with it. They're not necessarily a bad defense either. So I think, according to just statistical, Jaden Daniels seems like he had a pretty good game. Again, I didn't watch it. I don't know what y'all think.
It was a game I watched.
It wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't a great debut. The reasoning why, kind of sort of like Caleb, he would drop back and his eyes was not at, he was looking at the pass rush. He was immediately, his first instinct was actually to run the football. Even though he's dropping back with his hands in, a passing position. And that was my assessment of him right off the bat. Again, I didn't watch the full game. I watched a half of it. And again, that's what jumped out to me immediately. And, quarterbacks like that with that style do not last in this league. Even Michael Vick had enough skill to throw the ball to a wide open guy. And there was times where Jaden Daniels threw some passes. I recall a pass that went to McLaurin. That guy was double or triple covered, and he threw it like he was playing Madden. So I was just kind of like, what is he doing? And then, literally, I think that same drive, there was 3 plays he took off and ran. He was just gone, boom, boom, playing his foot out of the pocket. And, maybe the second half he did improve, and I didn't see it, but he didn't look like someone that would be able to sustain that sort of offense or style of play in a 16-17 game season. So that's my worry about him. I don't root for him because obviously he's in in the Eagles division, but I don't want to see him hurt. And I think he's going to need to learn how to sit back and read these defenses. And I will say, playing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a game one is a tall order for most quarterbacks. So I do give him a pass. I don't, he wasn't Caleb Williams. So I'm gonna give him that.
He better than Caleb for sure. I agree.
I do have a question. You said he ran a lot.
He ran for 100 yards.
Was he sliding at all? Yeah, was he sliding at all or no?
Yeah, he was sliding.
His slide is broke though. He needs to hit the water slide.
Yeah, he was actually diving head first in many cases.
Okay, I just brought that up because not to revamp on last year. What happened last year after week 1?
It wasn't an ant situation. He was trying to slide, but it looked like he was tearing his ACL every slide. It didn't look great.
I said Ant was trying to truck people. He would go down.
Well, Jaden Daniels ain't trucking nobody. Dude's 150 pounds.
Yes,
but I said what happens what I've shown when guys do that is they get hurt and they don't last, and sure enough, very next week, Ant gets injured.
I'm with Big though. It wasn't a great debut, but go ahead, Big.
I was gonna say, Jaden Daniels. I'm gonna say he's 6'1", 6'2". So 6'2", he's in the same frame as a Jalen Hurts. It's just Jalen Hurts is probably 40 pounds heavier.
I was gonna say frame. I don't know about the same frame.
Yeah. Well, height wise, they're about the same height. But Jaden Daniels, he looks like he didn't look like he was strong at all. He didn't look strong.
Well, my comparison to him was Lamar. He looked like rookie Lamar Jackson.
Rookie Lamar Jackson.
That's what he looked like. He looked like rookie Lamar Jackson. Even his play style in game one, it looked like he looks for his first receiver, takes off. And honestly, I thought Jaden did a great job when he took off. Yes, you're right. He needs to hit the slip and slide. He needs to learn to slide a little bit better. But I honestly, he showed some flashes of being a dynamic running quarterback, which I think we all expected. being the Heisman winner and all, he looked pretty good on some of the runs. He converted big third downs with his legs, which you want to see. And obviously, as he gets better, this is only week 1. We had to cut some of these quarterbacks some slack. But I mean, I want to see him do some more with his arm. But his his dynamic playability with his legs looked good.
You know what I would like to see out of him, and this is the last thing I'm going to say because I don't want to spend too much time talking about Jaden Daniels. If he shows me that while he's scrambling, sort of like Patrick Mahomes does, and I know people hate Mahomes, is that while he's running, I think even Lamar does this, keep his eyes down the field, always be looking to still deliver the football.
Oh, not week 1. Not this week, not this year.
No, he wasn't. But I thought there was opportunities where he was running, and it's like, hey, the guy was wide open doing jumping jacks. I'm like, bro, hit the pass. It reminds me of Justin Fields a little bit, but I don't even go on to talk about Justin Fields.
We'll give Justin a week or two before we even bring that up.
Yeah.
But to close out for the Caleb Williams, I'm not impressed. I think this coming week for him, he's got a lot on his plate. I think we're going to start seeing some of the emotional side of him coming out with the Houston defense really just swarming in on him. Tennessee's defense isn't great, and they were able to rattle him. I can only imagine what's going to happen Sunday night against Houston.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tall task. I don't expect Caleb to play great. Just a little bit better. Just a little bit better. And it's going to be tough because it is the Texans. But just a little bit better, please. That's all I ask. Use DeAndre Swift. That's what the Bears need to do as well. That's something that they didn't do. I don't want to talk about that, though.
Going into Chiefs, what do you got?
I was just going to say, I wrote down other rookie quarterbacks. We talked about Jaden. We talked about
Bo Nix. Bo Nix was the other one that started.
I was going to say Drake May, I don't believe played.
Drake May didn't play. J.J. McCarthy's out for the season. And Michael Penix is obviously the backup for the Falcons. He didn't play week 1. So it was only Bo Nix, and I did watch Bo Nix's. I didn't watch the game, but I watched the highlights. Like I said, it wasn't phenomenal. He threw the ball 48 times, had like 150 yards. Like, it wasn't a great game. He did have a really nice rushing touchdown at the end of the game, but he threw 2 picks. It wasn't a great performance. It was against the Seattle defense that I think might be underrated this year because who their head coach is and how well his scheme was for the Ravens last year. But it still wasn't a good game. I want to see how it goes. I think Jaden had the best week 1 of all the rookies. But yeah,
well,
3P for sure.
I don't see the Chiefs three-peating. And I don't see them three-peating to a few different teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think Houston and Buffalo will take them out. I think there's a couple NFC teams that if they happened to make it to the Super Bowl, I don't think they're beating the Lions, and I don't think they're beating the Eagles either. Unfortunately, I don't see the Ravens being able to beat the Chiefs when it matters. In my opinion, I think the Ravens should have beat the Chiefs, but I think the Ravens beat themselves. But that kind of seems to be a pattern for them whenever they play Kansas City.
You talking about week 1 they beat themselves? Or just in general?
Yeah. Well, in general they beat themselves, but also I think this week 1 they beat themselves as well. I didn't see anything spectacular out of the Chiefs' offense. Xavier Worthy is fast. You bracket him, you run a coverage over the top, and you have somebody stay underneath, and you stay true to your zones and stay true to your assignments. You take Xavier Worthy out of the play. Isaiah Pacheco isn't a bad running back, but he's not great either. He's a slippery little guy, but I don't see him doing anything spectacular. Teams are taking Travis Kelce away now. You're starting to see that a little bit more and more. End of last season, Ravens did a good job at neutralizing Travis Kelce as well. They held him to a minimum during that game. I don't see the Chiefs three-peating. I do see them getting dethroned. Like I said, I see Buffalo and I see Houston beating them, and I think it's going to be by a landslide too. I think they get dominated by those two teams. I think if they happen to make it, and they play the Eagles, I don't think they have an answer for Saquon. I think if they play Detroit, Detroit's going to beat them in all aspects. Detroit seems like they're pretty solid.
I would have to honestly say I don't see them three-peating. I think that they're probably going to lose a game, but I'm going to tell you, there is no team in the NFL from top to bottom that will dominate the Chiefs. I'm sorry. It's just not. Their coaching on both sides of the ball is just so good. And I don't know if you saw this or not. Chris Jones is a one-man defense. That dude is a grown man. I'm sorry, and I mean the Texans versus the Chiefs. I don't like that matchup for Texas. I'm not saying that they can't beat them. I think in a close game they could beat them, but I think that defense that the Chiefs runs confuses young quarterbacks. And if CJ was really mobile like Lamar, then I think that they can beat them. But they got two stud corners. They have a great safety. They have really good linebackers.
I'm with you, Dwight.
They got one really good corner. I don't know about two.
Well, I mean,
he ain't even playing.
Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie's the corner I'm talking about.
Good. Trent McDuffie's good. I mean, he's a stud, bro. I mean, he might
who's the other corner you talked about?
You said Snead. I don't.
Snead's a Titan.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
He's not even on the Chiefs.
They traded him away. Okay.
So they've got one corner. They got Trent McDuffie.
Trent McDuffie's a good corner, though.
The Houston Dolphins?
Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you that defense, and they confuse a lot of quarterbacks. But you know what?
I would agree. But
yeah, bro, they don't win Super Bowls for no reason. That's a team that they don't win Super Bowls for no reason. And you know what? I don't like Steve Spagnuolo. He's a Philly guy. I would give him all the credit in the world, but those dudes are just good. They're good coaches, man. And those guys show up, they be ready to play football every day. Last year, for an example, when they played the Miami Dolphins, nobody could stop the Miami Dolphins. But guess who stopped them? The Chiefs.
The winter.
They figured.
The winter stopped them.
The only problem with that is I feel like the majority of the teams in the NFL, they got a lot better during the offseason. I don't think the Chiefs got better.
They got a lot faster.
Andy Reid has made a career off of taking the guys that wasn't, quote, better. Patrick Mahomes. Nobody was thinking about Patrick Mahomes when he got drafted.
Well, 12th overall pick, but okay.
Yeah, I mean they took him 12th overall pick, but I don't know that he wasn't a top 5 pick. Quarterbacks going 12 is not something that's very common. They're usually really high picks or they're really late. Lamar Jackson probably. I don't know. I know the Eagles and the Ravens worked out a deal, got it done, so Lamar was able to go to there. And you know what? He probably should have been drafted higher. But I just feel like quarterbacks either go high or they're in the second round. And again, I'm giving the coaches the credit to the coaches. Those guys work wonders with guys who really seem like on other teams will not be stars.
Yeah, but to that point, granted, when the Chiefs and 49ers played, the Chiefs did come out on top, but Bobby Slowick was putting in work on that Chiefs defense. That Chiefs defense could not keep up with it. And the unfortunate part about the 49ers and Chiefs facing off, the 49ers shot themselves in the foot when they had the game in grasp. And that's what it comes down to. Bobby Slowick, and now Bobby Slowick is offensive coordinator for us. Who's to say he's not going to do the same thing to that Kansas City Chiefs defense?
Wait. When you saying he was with the 49ers, is that what we were saying?
Yes, when he was with the 49ers, that offense was bringing it to
under Shanahan, but he was
under Shanahan. Yeah, he calls all the plays. He's Shanahan's OC there.
He does.
I mean, I'm not taking that from him.
But
I like Bobby
that's just the
Slowick a
way
lot.
I see it. I don't think Kansas City got better. They got faster. I think physical talent can only take you so far. Granted, they have great coaches. I just don't see it. I just don't see it with Kansas City this year.
Can I be honest? Let me ask you a quick question. You got all three of you. Did Patrick Mahomes look like Patrick Mahomes against the Ravens?
He looked very cautious.
He looked very conservative. He didn't look like he was
cautious.
Do you guys know what happened to our DC last year?
He's gone.
He's gone. So we have a whole new DC, whole new defensive scheme.
I'm not that a bigger fan of Zach Orr. I mean, when the Eagles played them, yeah, I saw some really good glimpses of him, but I felt like there was times where, okay, let me address the elephant in the room. The Ravens, particularly against the Chiefs, their secondary was not intact. You know, and that's why I felt like they lost a lot of guys in that secondary that was really there last year and making it good.
Can you tell me who? You know, me being a Ravens fan, I'm just curious.
What's the guy that went to? I think didn't he go to the Browns? He had like 6 picks last year.
Geno Stone was a backup safety.
Okay,
not a big loss.
6 picks, you know, that's
Marcus Williams can do that. If Marcus Williams is healthy, he's doing that.
Yeah, but you guys have like a late round corner or second round corner was playing on the right side. You know, and it's not that
Brandon Stevens has been with our team for 2 years now, playing good second corner.
There was a guy
first round pick Nate Wiggins. I know exactly who you're talking about. I'll get into that real quick. So Nate Wiggins, we drafted in the first round, only had like 20 snaps. We started Jalen Armour Davis. That dude was burnt toast. I agree with Big. He was burnt toast. I absolutely agree. He shouldn't have been starting in that game. I don't know why Nate Wiggins isn't in there. But anyways, I don't want to talk too much about the Ravens, but I think that the Chiefs' biggest threat is the Ravens. Is why I'm bringing it up. Because yes, we lost. Yes, we lost. But like, you look at the defensive coordinator. If Isaiah Likely has a one shoe size less than what he has, that's a touchdown.
That's a touchdown. Yes, that was.
And so it's a one-score game in Kansas City, Week 1. I don't think Derrick Henry really got going. Like I think that. I mean, granted, Hollywood Brown wasn't playing for the Chiefs. I think that the Ravens are hungry to beat the Chiefs. If the Chiefs lose and the Ravens play somebody else, maybe they lose. But I feel like the Ravens, when they get into playoff time, they're trying their absolute hardest. They will die on the field to try to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs.
There's something else. I do want to respond to one other thing that you said, Matt, that I thought was very interesting. When you said that, you can bracket Xavier Worthy. And that's not a bad game plan. The problem with that is Travis Kelce just goes in the middle of the field. He just runs in circles, dude. Like, I don't understand how dudes even attempt to cover him. I know that Kyle Hamilton does a good job, but he can't nobody consistently cover that guy because he's running in circles. Like, he's not even running routes. Like, he's like Gronk 2.0. What Gronk say? I never ran routes.
I have a hot take. I don't know if you're talking about Kelce or Worthy, but my hot take for that game was Worthy was not that good.
No, I was just pointing out the fact that when he said, "Hey, bracket Worthy," and I'm saying that guy Travis Kelce, you cannot.
I'm just saying Worthy really wasn't that good. They had a jet sweep where Malik Harrison, which I've talked to Big about Malik Harrison, worst linebacker in the league, I'm convinced. But anyways, I watched a jet sweep and he bit on the stretch play to Pacheco, which allowed Isaiah Worthy just run in the end zone, and then he just burnt Marlon Humphrey on a miscommunication. Marlon thought I think it was like a cover 2. Marlon was playing low. It just went right over top of him.
Did you see what they did to Roquan on this play?
He got bullied. He got bullied. No, absolutely. But where's the other linebacker? Where's the other linebacker on that play? He was nowhere to be seen. That was Worthy's 2 touchdowns. That's why I don't think it was a great. He had 2 touchdowns, but I don't think it was actually a great performance by him.
Yeah, Yeah,
he got bullied. He did.
The craziest thing I think about that Ravens defense in that game was that they have a heavy defensive line. Those
yes,
are
sir.
Big dudes. Now, with that heavy of a front, they were able to utilize Roquan and Kyle Hamilton to play a little bit different over the field. I don't know if y'all noticed, but there were a lot of times where the Chiefs would be trying to flood, they'd be trying to do a high-low. Kyle Hamilton would move a little bit and throw somebody off their route, and then Roquan was there. I think if the Ravens defensive coordinator can tighten some things up, their defense will be great. But I'm not sold on the Ravens. I just have to highlight those two players, that they are absolutely phenomenal, and they make that.
Again, you don't have to be sold on the Ravens winning the Super Bowl, but just be sold on the Ravens want to beat the Chiefs if it means they're dying on the field.
Absolutely. They have. I feel like they have a lot to prove. They not only to the fans but to themselves. I don't disagree that they'll chop a hand off to beat them.
So, going to whether or not the Chiefs can 3-peat, I'll say no. And Matt brought up Texans and Bills. I'm not going to touch Texans at this point. Sorry, Matt. I do not think they will beat the Bills. I'll say why if we are going to do a take later on.
You said beat the Bills. No, go ahead, Vince. Interesting. Go ahead.
I do not think Chiefs will beat. I do not think the Bills will beat the Chiefs.
Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, that makes way more sense. That makes way more sense.
Matt said when he said he doesn't think Chiefs will repeat. He said, I don't think they beat the Texans or the Bills. I think the Bills will absolutely lose, and I'll say why later on if we're doing a take still.
Can we throw in the Jets and the Niners? Like the Niners were just in the Super Bowl.
I'm waiting to talk about them when they play tonight.
Okay. Because I
haven't gotten to see anything out of them yet.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the Jets have a legitimate team too.
So I'm not going to say anything. Unless you want me to do my take now if we're not doing one later.
No, but you do. So, Vince, do you think the Chiefs will 3-peat? You said no. What team do you see knocking them off? NFC, AFC.
You said NFC and AFC?
No. Either, just whatever team. Doesn't matter what conference.
I think, again, different circumstances, and now that they've kind of played them before, I think Ravens can easily beat the Chiefs again if they play.
I wouldn't say easily. They got a voodoo spell on us. Yeah. I won't say easily.
By easily, I mean it's very possible. I should have said that. My bad.
Okay, in Baltimore.
I can't even say that because last year it was in Baltimore.
No, I mean, and you know what? That game in Baltimore last year was an amazing game.
If Zay Flowers doesn't fumble, we don't know what we're talking about, man.
Yeah, I mean that was an amazing game. Could have gone in any direction, and you know what? I think that last year, first of all, the Chiefs, they don't have wide receivers. I don't know why. Maybe Xavier Worthy has.
I mean, what do you mean? Rasheed Rice looked really good.
Oh, he did, yes, and he was running wide open a few times. And I guess Armor Jackson. What was his name?
No. So Rasheed Rice was running the CD Lamb role. He was just running slants in the slot. That's all he. It's Michael Thomas 2.0. It was crazy. He was getting open, though. I can't get mad at him. But I do want to say the Chiefs also have Hollywood Brown. He didn't play week 1, so there's another receiver that they do have. Juju looked horrendous, but I think we all expected that. But they do have Hollywood Brown coming.
Didn't he drop a touchdown?
Yeah, he did. Absolutely.
He dropped a touchdown.
Absolutely.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, you should make a TikTok about that.
But Checo Stonehands, too? Like, that was pretty sweet. Anyways, yeah, no. Sorry, go ahead, Vince. You said Ravens?
I don't think they beat the Ravens again. Eagles, I think can beat them depending on how the cornerback situation pans out this year. I haven't seen the Eagles play. When they played.
You didn't watch the Friday game?
No, I was at work.
Oh, I didn't know you had to work on Friday. Okay.
So yeah, I didn't watch it. So depending on the Eagles' defensive backs, I think Eagles beat them.
So as an Eagles fan, I gotta cut you off, bro. Listen, the Eagles are solid. They on paper they look really, really good. Okay, but the Eagles clearly have some deficiencies, bro. And as an Eagles fan, you know, while it pains me to say, I have to be truthful. Jalen Hurts, again, albeit he's learning a new system, so I don't completely destroy him for the picks. But when he threw picks, they were awful picks. Like they were like Like, bro, what are you doing? Like, like Stevie Wonder won't throw those passes. So there was times where, I absolutely think that, Jalen Hurts can be the Eagles' worst enemy. Now, I will say this. The Eagles' defense played one of the better games that they played since the Super Bowl year. Not the year that they won, but the year that they lost to the Chiefs.
Not to cut you off, but how many points did you guys allow?
A lot of points.
So they played the best, but allowed a lot of points. Okay.
Listen. There is something to be. If you watch the Eagles defense last year, they was historically bad.
Oh no, they were horrendous. Oh yeah.
The linebackers couldn't cover. They couldn't stop a dead end. Okay. So you know what? To see them have some really good, goal line stands. To see them to call some 3 and outs against a really good Jordan Love is a really good underrated quarterback, and you know what, to see them get some stops was actually very encouraging. The rookie played well. There's one play where he got kind of caught looking in the backfield, and they were able to sneak a guy behind him, and of course the CD Deuce he got faked out the stadium. I don't know if the turf was better, would that have happened? I don't know. At the end of the day, there was some things to be encouraged about. And Dwight, you said it best. And you actually made me feel good about the Ravens loss when you said, you know what, it was a loss. Losses sometimes are not. They don't make you feel good, but sometimes when you see good things while they're happening, it's encouraging. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the Texans. Texans started off last year, and you was like, I don't know. I'm looking at a 7-7 team, and you know what? They turned some things around. There was some things to be encouraged about. So the Eagles do have some encouraging things. They could be really good offensively. They could be high power potentially, especially with AJ the Alien Brown. I hear people calling him an alien.
Oh yeah.
he's not human. So hey, let's see what happens, baby. Let's go. But I wouldn't say that the Eagles could beat the Chiefs today. And that's as an Eagles fan.
I'm surprised you didn't talk about Saquon at all. I thought Saquon had a good debut.
He did.
Surprised you didn't talk about Saquon at all.
Well, but I mean, I had to point out the elephant in the room, and what I'm speaking as to why I don't think the Eagles could actually beat the Chiefs, because I think that although that defense made some strides, Patrick Mahomes is something about that guy. Man, there's something about that guy, man. He's special, man, and it's the reason why
he did anything amazing against the Ravens, but okay.
But I think Big's gonna say the Ravens defense might be better though. Might be. Yeah. I'm not saying it is. Yeah. Big might say it might be.
They absolutely are better. I mean, look, if you line up the Eagles defense and you go down side by side, they run a very similar scheme now. The Ravens are better on the D line. I would give it to the Ravens.
D line? I don't know. I'd probably give it to the Eagles on D line.
Well, Jalen's good. I mean, but Jordan Davis can't play. He can't play full quarters. So the dude can't go full quarters no more. So I mean, the dude looked like Vince that he went for a Gatorade run. So I mean,
okay.
Linebackers certainly goes to the Ravens. Secondary, I'm going to give corners to the Eagles, and I'm going to give safeties to the Ravens. So overall secondary, I think they're probably,
So you know what? You take Slay over Marlon. I won't super disagree. And you're taking what, rookie corner over rookie corner?
Well, first of all, I hadn't seen Nate Wiggins play.
He looked like he didn't play because we had Jalen Armour Davis getting burnt every play, but it's okay. We won't talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, we also have Isaiah Rodgers, who's allegedly really good.
Brandon Stevens, super underrated, but you won't talk about him. It's okay. Technically, Marlon was our slot corner week 1. So anyway, but I won't disagree. I can't super disagree on corners. I think we got maybe better depth.
I think moving into topic 3, team
we should know. We should move on really quick. You guys don't want to talk about them. The Cowboys looked good. It was against the Browns, but they did look good. Everybody's paid now, so there's no drama with getting paid, except for Micah. But I don't think Micah's that type of dude.
Before you go, I didn't get to finish my statement. That's fine, but I will go this. When I said 1. big, I didn't say Eagles can beat them right now. He said to get to the Super Bowl. That's later on in the year. So I brought up the Eagles DBs, and for one, the rookie, like you mentioned, and they have another one who didn't even play. So the rookie's only played one game. He's played one game. The other one, none. So they are going to develop as the season goes on, as they get more experience.
You talking about Cooper and Quignon? They both played.
Okay, as far as what I heard, Cooper did not play, but...
He was out there?
Yeah, Cooper DeJean played. He was out there. He was balling out.
Okay. But yeah, that was my point. Both the rookies, they've had one game so far. So they're going to develop as the season goes on.
Right.
And then, I don't know what their safety is like, but that's why I said...
Gardner Johnson and Reed Blankenship.
Yeah. I know who they are. I just don't know how they played.
Anyway, so I do want to try and get through these last two topics so we can make it to the Jets and 49ers game.
Right.
So to Dwight's point, he said he was impressed with Dallas. Do you have any more takes on that?
Well, I'm not getting on that Dallas hype train anymore. I just wanted to say they did get a good win week 1. I am not on no Dallas hype train. My Dallas hype train days are behind me. If they're gonna make the playoffs and lose, that's just Dallas. I do want to talk about the Panthers disappointing me. They got blown out, bro. They got absolutely blown out. Bryce Young, yeah, exactly. Not even by the Saints, middle of the pack team. Bryce Young didn't look any better this year. Had a whole offseason to get better. The Panthers signed a bunch of free agents to help Bryce Young and make their defense a little better. They lost Brian Burns. That's going to hurt a little bit on defense. But, bro, they lost by like 30 to 40 points. Like, what were the Panthers doing in the offseason? Their season ended week 1. They're the only team whose season ended week 1. So I'm just super disappointed in the Panthers. Bryce Young didn't play well. It wasn't a good game for anybody. The Saints, opposite end of the spectrum, they played well against the Panthers, like really well against the Panthers. It's the Panthers though. I don't know how much credit to give to them. Also, the Falcons disappointed me a little bit. With new offense, they didn't look great either. But that's all I wanted to say. The Panthers disappointing.
I was impressed by Chargers. Their defense didn't give an inch. Their defense played so good. I think Chargers seem like they have gotten better. I was just kind of impressed overall with their with that specific game. I can't really throw out anything specific notable. Just the Chargers as a whole looked a lot better than what they did last year. I think it was against the Jets where they both just looked.
They're more motivated for sure. They have to be, right? New head coach Harbaugh's gonna get that team fired up every week. I didn't watch the game, but it's also the Raiders. It's the Raiders. They have Gardner Minshew. Their best running back is Alexander Madison. Might be a president from the 1700s. We don't know. But, they don't have nobody special on offense. But I thought the Chargers' offensive line, they drafted Joe Alt. They have a full O-line now, and their O-line has played solid. J.K. Dobbins, former Raven, played really well. He played really well in his first game since last year, week 1. So, I don't know. I'm excited for that team's growth throughout the season.
Oh, absolutely. So, I was impressed with the Chargers. Now, when it comes to... I could spend a long time talking about this. I was unimpressed with the Ravens' ability to use Derrick Henry. They ran him 13 times and called it a day. He had 46 yards. If they would have ran him a lot more, I think they would have tired out Chris Jones. They would have tired out the rest of the defense. The Ravens would have been able to kind of thunder and lightning it. They didn't utilize Derrick Henry the way I thought they should have. They relied a lot on Lamar's arm.
And legs.
Moving forward, I would like to see them running the heck out of Derrick Henry the way the Titans did. When Derrick Henry gets going, he is hard to stop. That's just what he is, just like in Madden. He's like he's got freight train from NFL 100. You cannot stop him. And I was disappointed to see their lack of use of him. because when they ran him those 13 times, it's like running into a brick wall every single time, and you get tired, and you can't do that all game long. So, that was my disappointment for the week.
No arguments. No arguments. I do want to say John Harbaugh at a presser today, he did say that we didn't sign Derrick Henry to run him 30 times a game, which is kind of disappointing because I thought they were gonna make it a little less pause, big moment here, but a little less load on Lamar Jackson. But we'll see going forward. We'll play the Raiders, so hopefully a bounce back week.
You got anything that impressed you, Vince? Big disappointment, hair appointment.
I'll let Vince go. Go ahead,
Big don't got no hair appointment. Vince, you're a Patriots fan, bro. Rep your team.
Okay, I was gonna say I can say that, but yeah, it's like, I don't want to hog it on a team.
Y'all beat the Bengals. Suck it, Joe Burrow. Oh, my controller's about to break.
We beat, as he said, beat Bengals. That's a team where basically I was looking through the schedule. Oh, I'm like week 1 Bengals. That's automatic loss right there. So, ye of little faith, I guess. It was, played Jacoby Brissett. Drake May, as far as I know, is not even starting. Mm-hmm. I get to watch it because didn't get it televised. I'm just not close enough.
You'll be good. You'll be good week 2, Vince. You'll be good week 2.
And it wasn't. They only held, I want to say, Cincy to 10 points. Right? That's a big deal. Joe Burrow. I can't even say his name. Joe Burrow, Jamal Chase,
Christian Gonzalez put on the clamps. Anyways.
So it's not like Cincy doesn't have weapons, and to hold that offense to 10 points, even though Burrow is
remember they did lose Joe Mixon. T. Higgins didn't play, I don't think, but still, regardless, this is a game that the Patriots should not have won. Sorry, go ahead.
I agree, and they won.
The
defense was good last year. So to see at least against Cincy that
without Judon too.
Yeah, that's true. And without Ballmer too, because he has blood clots or something, so he's been inactive. So basically, almost non-existent D-line. It was very encouraging to see that they could stand up to a team like the Bengals when this was going to be either a growth season. Well, it was going to be a growth season either way. It was expected to be a growth season while they have very few wins. But yeah, like I said, I'll take the surprise.
Gerard Mayo 1-0.
Right. Big, what you got? Oh, McCaffrey's inactive tonight. Sorry.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
That's big. Okay. That's big news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. So, you know what? I think I was impressed. I really did like the Detroit Lions. I thought they played well. I think that one thing that was interesting was, or a surprise, if you want to say, is that interception that Stafford threw at the end of that game, and not being able to see because of the landscape was a very, very interesting phenomena. So I think that we could potentially see that as an issue for NFL teams in the future. Because and that was my biggest surprise, that he threw that pick, and because he couldn't see the guy.
I want to show the Lions some love since you're talking about the Lions real quick. Aiden Hutchinson, I think, proved to everybody that he's a top 3 edge rusher in the league now. Like he looked unblockable.
He played really well.
He played so well, and I also like the Lions' ability just to pound the rock in overtime. Just destroy the Rams' life in OT. Just didn't give him a chance. David Montgomery was pounding it, but pounding it like no other. And they got that touchdown. And it made it look easy. Big old physical football in OT. Everybody's it's week 1 overtime. Everybody should be dead tired. The Lions rammed it in the Rams' throats. Anyways, that's exactly what they did.
I was able to watch it.
Rammed it.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
It was a thing of beauty for overtime. The Motor City had a second motor. No, Montgomery didn't play good until overtime. It was literally overtime. He just wasn't stoppable. He was prime beast mode.
I was gonna say, so was it Montgomery, or you're gonna bash me for mentioning this position, or is it the line? Because the Lions have a great line. Snail,
No, Vince. The Lions have probably the best O-line in the league, but when David Montgomery breaks 4 tackles and fights for 5 yards, it's not just the O-line.
That's right.
So that's what I was asking. Who was it actually? Just to clarify, since I didn't watch it.
Both.
Jamison Williams had his best game as a starter too. I don't know. The Lions are just, they continue to be on the up and up. Like they're getting closer. Yeah. It feels like it might be their year to go to the Super Bowl. It really does.
Hey, did you guys see Mekhi Becton? That dude was putting in work. So, hey, listen, you know what?
You mean the skyscraper at tackle?
Listen, dude was pancaking dudes left and right. You can say that they got the best O-line, but I'm gonna say, it's a tight finish between the two Eagles and them.
If you guys maybe still had Kelsey and yeah, maybe if you guys had still had Kelsey. I think the Lions have a legitimate Pro Bowler on every one of their positions. Like, it's crazy.
I think at least 2 of them could be All-Pro.
So for my closing thoughts before I go...
Hold on. Who's the All-Pros, Vince?
Right tackle and center.
What's his name?
Peter Smith, not Peter.
Sorry, what? Sorry, hold on a second. What was he about to say?
No, because I got to challenge you.
Puffer Pecker? What is he about to say? Puffer Pecker?
Frank Ragnow, and then the tackle Snail.
Panay Sewell?
Sewell, Snail.
I mean, Kevin Zeitler, maybe. At guard.
A younger Kevin Zeitler, I'd say yes.
Vince, old linemen don't age, bro. Look at Trent Williams.
Look at Jason Peters. That dude was playing last season.
I think he's still on a team this year. I don't know what team, but I think he's still on a team.
Oh man.
Just to knock Big down though, last time I saw Jason Peters, he was getting his what.
I think he's playing. I think he's converted. He's converted to guard now, right?
Yeah. Who's he playing, man? Who's he playing for?
I don't remember. I just remember him being awful.
Chicago. So I mean, you don't know who he played for.
He's not playing for Chicago this year, though.
Who did he play for? I thought you were asking who he played against when he got.
Vince, nobody thinks like you, bro. You're one of one. Anyways, to go to closing statements, Vince, how about you start it off? No, let Vince start it off because Vince has been last on all of these. Let Vince start it off.
I've been laughing at all. What?
You've been last. You've been last on everything we've said. I want you to start something.
Well, it doesn't matter if I'm last or not. I've got cut off every time. I think I've only been able to finish one segment. But yeah, I mentioned earlier I wasn't going to say anything about the Bills. Thank you, Vic. Anything about the Bills in case we had takes later on. When Matt said he thinks Bills can beat the Chiefs, no. I told Dwight this. I think the Bills finished 3rd in the division. Like, I know they're not going to beat the Dolphins, even though the Dolphins didn't have anything great week 1, though they did play the Jags, who aren't a bad team. And I think the Jets even beat them now that they actually have a quarterback. They have great defense. Now they have a quarterback. They have a wide receiver that did really well his rookie year a couple of years ago. Yeah, they have very good pieces. And then Brees Hall at running back.
So Vince, quick question: Do you think they make the playoffs?
Bills?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no. I think they'd be lucky to go just over 500.
Oh, okay. Book it. That was the same take I made last year. Book it. Book it.
Well, they're already over 500.
Well, the thing is, and
Vince, go one step further. 4th in division, Patriots 3rd. One step further, Vince. Pound it.
I mean, after that Cincinnati game, I'm kidding. Nah, I'm not gonna. I'm a Patriots fan, but I'm not delusional about my team either. But yeah, Josh Allen, I see, and yes, he came back. He led his team to come back, but he was playing awful. It looks like at the beginning of that game.
Only had one turnover though. That's positive for him.
I mean, I'll put it this way: it was only for the first couple drives, but not to bring fantasy in it. But when it's this bad, I kind of have to. after a couple of drives, I looked and he had negative point. It's because of a fumble, but he had negative points on fantasy. How does a quarterback have negative? Anyway, so I was gonna say, you mentioned this last year. You don't think Diggs is as big of a deal as I did, but because you mentioned his stats, he struggled statistically at the end of the year, but he may have struggled, but he still demanded attention. Now that he's gone in Buffalo, who does Josh Allen have to throw to?
Keon Coleman.
Keon
Yes,
Coleman
that's good.
balled out.
And he did, probably. But
Probably. He said probably.
Probably he did. He did.
He did
Keon
ball out.
Coleman had a great day.
Again, I hadn't watched the game fully. I was watching Texans Colts. So I looked at the stats, and that was about it. That's only tell you so much.
Speaking of Stephon Diggs, he had a day, but that's different thing. He had a day.
But you think Coleman's going to carry that team, though?
They don't need him to. They need Josh Allen to carry the team. Like they don't need every. What do you think Patrick Mahomes did last year? They had one receiver. That was it. They had a good defense. I don't know if the Bills have a good defense.
Patrick Mahomes did well last year, and Travis Kelce, as Matt mentioned, he didn't do as well late in the year. But though he didn't do as well, it's not like they still didn't pay attention to Travis Kelce to make sure he didn't do well. He still demanded attention.
Vince, I like how I appreciate the content, but I like how the question was, what do you look forward to? Like, what are you looking forward to in week 2? And you just decided to say the Bills won't make the playoffs. Again, I appreciate the content, but like, where'd that come from? I'm here for it. I was a little curious.
I didn't know if we're doing, what'd you call it? Oh, hot takes. That's not extremely hot, but
It's not a statement.
I did it. Okay, final statement. Yeah, so this is my last time talking, most likely. So yeah, and I didn't say it earlier. I said I was gonna wait until now, so I'm getting that in now, since I didn't say it earlier.
Okay, right on, Vince. Right on. Anything you look forward to week 2, real quick, before we kick you out of here?
Okay. I wish I looked at I could do that now probably, but who do the Patriots play next week? I thought I'm probably gonna be able to watch them.
You'll be able to watch them. I don't like. I'm telling you, you'll be able to watch them. I don't know who the hell they play. Probably like the Chiefs or somebody, but I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so
Go ahead, Matt.
all right, closing statements.
They play
Only
Jet.
week 1, but it looks like Houston has a run game. Joe Mixon looked phenomenal. I think as a fan base, we were concerned with him because he didn't play any of the preseason. He's been hurt off and on, but his resume indicates that he is a great running back. He ran for over 150 yards on the Colts. The Colts, I don't think they're a terrible team. I think they play the run pretty well usually. Joe Mixon was making people miss. He was running through people. He all around did what I was hoping he would do. Looking forward into week 2, I hope that we can maintain the run game. I'm hoping that our pass rush can do more. Granted, we got a few sacks on Anthony Richardson with our defensive tackle. Who is he? I have no freaking clue.
Or round pick. Sorry,
Did he get that?
My bad.
Did he? I think it's safe to say that our interior was able to generate more pressure and play better gap assignment because we have guys like Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, and the Texans are cycling out those pass rushers. Will Anderson comes in, goes out. Danielle Hunter comes in, goes out. Derek Barnett in and out. Jerry Hughes. So our defensive line is continuously fresh the entire game. So moving forward, I do hope that we see more production out of our entire defensive line. I think there's a lot of pressure on them from the fan base, considering the names. I would like to see Houston's secondary not entirely play so aggressive. I do believe that our aggressive play on the back end is the reason why Anthony Richardson was able to throw those two dimes. I do think that if they would have showed more integrity to their assignment, I think it could have resulted in either a incomplete pass or a pass interception. I also think that maybe on the back end we need to clean up a little bit of the communication. It seemed like Derek Stingley got lost in some translation with some people, which we know is kind of, Derek Stingley he's a phenomenal corner. So when he gets beat, you kind of have to start looking, okay, well, was there a misassignment here? Was there a miscommunication? Things like that. Overall, I'm happy with the Texans' performance. I would like to see some tune-ups in those areas that I mentioned.
Right on. Final statement. Ravens play the Raiders. I want to see Derrick Henry get 50 touches. That's all I want to see. I don't want to see Lamar have to throw the football once. I don't know. I feel like he took a beating week 1. I feel like it should be an easy week. Obviously, no game in the league is easy. I don't want to talk too much about the Ravens. I feel like we did talk about them a good amount. Just what I'm looking forward to, I want to watch the rookie quarterbacks, and I want to see if they get any better week 2. None of them played, good. Some of them play, I say some of them. Jaden played okay. None of them played good. I want to see if some of them can play a little bit better. Granted, some of them are going against tougher opponents. I do say Jaden is playing the Giants. The Giants look terrible. If any quarterback's going to have a good week, it would be Jaden. Just looking at opponent. So we'll see.
Final statements. What are you looking forward to next week, Big?
I'm looking forward to I don't know. I just want to see some more good football. I was happy with the gameplay by some of the teams. I thought I'm looking forward to better officiating.
Yeah,
Good luck. Good luck. Go to a different league. Go watch FIBA. I don't know. You're not getting that here. Go watch golf. You want to go watch good officiating.